Number 10. Susan Sarandon Ping Pong. How far would you go to accommodate your favorite tabletop game? Having your own foosball or pool table would be enough for most people, as it's pretty much all you need, provided you always have somebody to play against. But playing against the same few people all the time might not be enough if you become talented enough. And that's the predicament Susan Sarandon encountered. Her solution? Opening her own ping pong nightclub in New York City called Spin, and after soon opening a total of 3 other Spin locations in cities across North America. Furthermore, she's donated over $100,000 towards purchasing ping pong equipment for New York schools. She claims that she isn't that great despite her obsession, but she has reportedly defeated Jimmy Fallon, so she is well above the average player. Number 9. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, Speed Scrabble. Many people assume that celebrities are famous for being dumb. In reality, this is often true, but there are a few that you would call famous that are intelligent in ways that you would never expect. For instance, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes have both enjoyed a few games of what is called Speed Scrabble, and have gotten quite good at it. Speed Scrabble, as the name suggests, is about forming words at the fastest pace possible, and isn't limited by other players' turns. You empty your board as fast as possible to draw the most pieces to make the most words. Whomever has made the most words when the bag is empty is the victor. It just goes to show that challenging someone to a game of their choice is a terrible idea, as many people like Tom Cruise or Katie Holmes will always have secret talents and something out of the ordinary that you would never have expected. Number 8. Neil Patrick Harris, the Magician. Have you ever noticed that many of the characters played by Neil Patrick Harris have been interested in actual magic or performed magic? Barney Stinson, interested in magic. His character on Glee, also a magician. But is it just a coincidence? Of course not. Neil Patrick Harris is of course a magician as well. How good, you may ask? Well, it's not just a hobby for him. He performed for many shows like Oprah and Ellen. Furthermore, he was good enough to win the Tannen's Magic Louie Award in 2006, and his Emmy-winning magic performance on Glee was also his doing. So yes, along with being an incredibly talented and popular actor, Neil Patrick Harris is also an accomplished magician, as if he didn't have enough going for him. Number 7. Mike Tyson, Pigeon Racer. Have you ever imagined big tough actors or bodybuilders like Dwayne Johnson or Arnold Schwarzenegger doing something completely cute or out of the ordinary? Something that doesn't exactly seem like something they would be interested in, like pigeon racing? Believe it or not, Mike Tyson of all people has been racing pigeons ever since he was 9, and even owns his own coop in New Jersey. He's so enthusiastic about pigeon racing that in 2011 he hosted a 6-episode special on Animal Planet where he participated in races with established champion racers. Unfortunately, the show was actually barred from states like New York due to complaints from PETA and other animal rights groups, each concerned about pigeons being locked up in small cages for long periods of time. But rest assured, Mike Tyson would never abuse his birds, and his coops have been described as penthouses for pigeons. Number 6. Aaron Paul, gendering dogs. Most people can remember that one friend they had back in the day that always told the weirdest stories that they could never prove. Aaron Paul, an actor famous for his role in Breaking Bad, was probably this friend. He claims ever since he was a child, he had the strange ability to figure out the gender of a dog by touch. And no, not by touching them in the obvious place. Nobody really took this at face value, and it was decided that this strange talent would be put to the test on Jimmy Kimmel Live. On air, he identified 4 different dogs, 3 females and a male. It isn't the biggest sample pool, but to get them all correct, his chances were about 6.25% if he just blindly guessed. The results could have still been faked, but Jimmy Kimmel isn't one to pull punches when there is a chance to embarrass someone. Number 5. Angelina Jolie Knife Throwing. Have you ever wondered if actors pick up any skills in the movie set? Being in enough action movies enough times, and screwing up enough forces you to repeat the same actions over and over again. So you're sure to pick up something sooner or later. Even Jaden Smith was able to pick up some martial arts while filming The Karate Kid. While on the set of the Tomb Raider movie, Angelina Jolie could often be seen practicing her skill in throwing knives. Apparently, she's always had an interest in weaponry, particularly butterfly knives, a type of blade that's very difficult to handle. If you don't believe us, you can easily find clips of her twirling blades around on multiple talk shows. Number 4. Johnny Cash, Pro Code Breaker. Code breaking is something you normally only see in movies, like The Imitation Game, and today it's more of a lost art. A computer can break most standard codes within hours, if not minutes, making us humans almost completely obsolete. But back when breaking codes was more of a human task, one of the very best at it was country music singer Johnny Cash. He joined the military in 1950, and after a few years he was shipped to Germany to interpret Russian Morse code. Reportedly he was very good at his job, and was called in for the most troublesome messages nobody else could interpret. His biggest achievement, however, was the very first operator to receive and decode messages stating the death of Russian dictator Joseph Stalin. He was discharged in 1954 and he returned to Texas to begin his music career. Number 3. Skateboarding legend Jason Lee. When it comes to pro skateboarders, who's the first person you think of? Probably Tony Hawk, right? Who could blame you? He is the one that broke all those records and has video games named after him. But there is another skateboarding legend that you probably haven't heard about, actor Jason Lee. In fact, he was a professional skateboarder first and actor second for most of his life, and was actually featured as a playable character in Tony Hawk's Project 8. He's also credited with perfecting the 360 flip, although he did not invent it himself. So next time you find yourself watching My Name is Earl, or rewatching The Incredibles, or one of the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, remember that this guy isn't just an actor, but for most of his life, he was actually a famous skateboarder who, despite being in his mid-40s, still shreds it up today. Number 2. Michael Jackson's strange chair art. In nearly every high school class, there is somebody sitting in the back doodling very impressive pictures, when they should probably be listening to the teacher. That kind of person is usually quite reserved, and not Michael Jackson. But you would be surprised. Michael Jackson rarely shared his work, but while he made some excellent music, he also drew a little bit of art. In fact, most of it was found after he passed away, when all of his papers were sorted through. But what did Michael Jackson draw, you ask? Well, he must have had some kind of strange chair fascination, because a lot of the drawings that were found were simply a variety of chairs with faces. Most of them are actually highly detailed and interesting, like something you would find in some kind of abstract art exhibit. Sadly, there's been a lot of conflict over the ownership of his art collection, and for now it resides in his secret Santa Monica airport studio. Number 1. Rod Stewart model creation. Look at this old-timey photo of the Three Rivers and Grand Street Railroad. Most old trains like these are sadly retired, and places like this don't really exist anymore outside of old train museums. Or do they? Believe it or not, looking at this image you would have been duped by none other than Rod Stewart, one of the greatest model creators alive. This scene is a little more than scale model. Everything from the trains to the trees to the buildings were either handcrafted or put together by Rod Stewart, and as you can see, the amount of detail is nothing less than astounding. And according to Rod, it isn't even finished yet. He's so talented at model creation that he's been featured on the front cover of Model Railroader magazine, twice. He's also known for outbidding many other creators on eBay for exclusive model sets needed to create some buildings. It turns out when you're a famous musician and songwriter, you can afford to spend lots of money creating incredibly detailed model trains and scenery.